one of the reasons that I haven't been uploading in a while is because the locals that I usually go to has shut down. For how long, I have no idea. There's no word on it yet, so until further notice, my passion for the game is kind of, well, it's still there, but it's kind of, decreased, so to speak. And along with that passion, my passion to make videos. Infection is still going on. I mean, that right there takes time, when the time calls for it, and, the consistency and film schedule, that's a completely different thing. But as far as making, casual videos, that's, it's starting to become and feel like a little bit of a chore, which I kind of don't want that to feel like, because, I want it to be fun. I want it to be, like, there. I want to put as much work and effort into it as I possibly can. But until then, it's just a video here and there. I'm gonna try to upload as much as I can, but that's just how things are for the time being, anyway. And today's no exception. As most of you guys know, today's my birthday, and what better way to celebrate my birthday than with a Photon Galaxy deck profile, or as I like to call this, Photon Galaxy deck update. Because I know that I did a deck profile of it back in the summer, sometime in the summer, and I forgot to do another one because I didn't feel like, there was really no rhyme or reason to do one right now. In fact, I didn't want to do one until Bosch was released, because that's the good stuff that comes out. Because this build, it's nothing compared to the one that I have on YGOPro, the updated build. I got this one up there for the time being, but I also have a separate build on YGOPro to test, the future builds, with Infinity and all that. So with that said, this build, I'm not saying that this build is bad, okay? Like, this build, what I really like about this build is that many people can tell you right now, if you knew the same people that I played against, they would tell you that I'm just one of those people with this deck. It's like those people that try so hard and they're like so close to succeeding, only to fail, like, once they're already at the top of the mountain. Like, to me, it's fun, okay? Because I never topped at locals with this deck before. I think the highest I ever gone with this was probably 5th, with Clownblade coming in at 4th, like I said earlier in the other deck profile. This one, I only made it up to 5th at best, and that's as high as I'll go for the time being, because until that locals opens up again, I'm gonna keep trying. But that said, let's get started. So, like Clownblade, we're gonna start things off with the back row, because we'll get into it a lot more. But also for this deck in particular, we're not running that much back row as you can see, because I don't think Photon Galaxy benefits running that much back row like Talonites or BA. I'm only running just the one-ofs, Bottomless, Warning, Ring, Vanities, because the deck doesn't really need it. I mean, it's there just to just to help it out. Because once you get your field going, if there's any problematic monsters, that's the reason why it's there, just to take care of problematic monsters. Like that, I can't even speak today. Back row is not really needed. It is, but it's not as focused. It's not the main focus. We already know what the main focus is, but this just isn't it. It's just there to take care of the problematic monsters. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that takes care of the back row. So moving on to the spells and traps, like, for Photon Galaxy, these are basically the number of spells and traps that you normally use, which is 2 expos, 2 zeros, and the 1 Axolite. 1 Axolite is, to me, it's good enough. Like, you're not really gonna need it that much, because your field is gonna be full anyway. Or you're always gonna have something there. I mean, the monsters are gonna be hard to kill, so you're rarely ever gonna have a clear field. Felgrand is gonna be hard to kill. Prime is gonna be hard to kill. Hell, with Prime already on the field, like, it's a miracle you're still alive. Your opponent is still alive, because usually, with Prime, you win. But that's why I only run just the 1 Axolite. I only need 1. I don't need to run 2 or more. 0, same thing. Like, I love Revivers from the Grave, but we already run enough as it is. So, and drawing into it first turn, that it's already dead. The deck already bricks enough as is. So running 0 at 2 is enough. I remember I used to run 3 expos, and I still want to run 3, but with the 2 so far, you do so much. You only do so many plays that your deck eventually thins out, and the reason why it thins out is because of the amount of draw power that you run, which is why this deck really does need the draw power. The 3 trade-ins, as well as, this is another one that I was hesitant to doing, which was 3 Upstart Goblins, because I could not stand I could not even fathom the very thoughts of giving my opponent, extra life just so I could draw a card. But then, more of my friends at locals, they started convincing me, like, yeah, they gain 1,000 life points, but this is an OTK based deck anyway, so if anything, they're just gonna lose the life points anyway. What's an extra 1,000 just to get an extra piece of the OTK puzzle? So it doesn't really matter if they get the 1,000. You get a free draw card, so that right there is good enough to push for the OTK. But also, to take care of that OTK, we got to take care of the back row as well. Even though we don't run that much, it's best to leave it there as well, which is why 2 MSTs and 2 Forbidden Lance is good. That way, if there's any floodgates, the 2 MSTs are right there for you, and anything else, bottomless or compulse or torrential or anything like that. Even battle traps that are starting to become a thing now. Forbidden Lance is always there to help you out. If not, Felgrand. And to take care of more problematic monsters, you got the one Regeki, because Regeki. Alright, moving on to the monsters. The monster lineup, this is the other reason why I didn't feel the need to do this deck profile, but I kind of feel like I have to now, because there is maybe a couple of things in here that I started to realize, and it kind of motivated me to do the deck profile today. But I'll get to that in a second. So a lot of it is still the same thing, like 3 dragons, because it's the main deck boss monster, his partner in crime, the reviver, the 3 galaxy knights. Yes, I run 3 of each. I know that there's some people out there that run 2 dragons and the 1 knights, and that's fine. I'm pretty sure you have your reasons. I personally need to run 3 of both of them, because the draw power is there and it's really, really needed. Not to mention, I'd rather have either one, either or. If I don't have dragon in hand for a trade, and then I'll be more than happy to ditch one of the knights for a trade and then draw into a dragon. At least I know with that done, the deck will be thinned out a whole lot more. And once it is thinned out, you get to at some point, if not soon, by the next turn, you draw into either one of the 3 galaxy soldiers. Once again, I'm seeing a lot of builds that only run 2. Yes, I get it. It can be pretty dead. But my build, the reason why it's never really dead, because I've beaten a lot of decks with this before. It even shocks me to this day. The fact that I managed to get 5th surprises me. Running it at 3 is because, there's so much shit in your hand that you need to get rid of. If you don't draw into any of your draw cards, you need to get rid of them. Plus, not to mention, like I said, there's stuff in here, like mainly the 2 level 8s that you need engrave, and I'd rather have either or engrave, so I can revive it with 0 than expo into a rank 8. And what I really like about this deck, and I'm still not gonna stop condemning Konami for this, for not giving them enough attention like they are giving these Arc 5 archetypes. So even though these are just OCG exclusive, they didn't come from the manga or the anime for that matter. But what I really am grateful for that Konami did for this deck is that it gave it a whole lot of searchers. Even though there's one that we don't use, this is the one that we've been waiting for, and here's the other one that we've been utilizing the most, that has 2 effects in case one doesn't work, which is Triple Galaxy Wizard, because Wizard is still a necessity to the deck. If the searching effect doesn't work, I'm sorry, I got that backwards. If the level manipulation effect, doubling the level to level 8, if that doesn't work, then just tribute it and just search, because it either or works fine. I sometimes hate it when it's, you gotta choose one or the other, and you don't know which one could be the best one that could benefit you for the situation when the time calls for it. But it usually helps most of the time anyway. And another thing is, because we run a lot of revivers, I think the 2 Galaxy Eyes Cloud Dragons is enough. I used to run 3. It was never dead in hand. Then at some point it started to, but only because more stuff got in the way. More stuff came out that was a lot better, that I could benefit a whole lot more than, just the 3 Cloud Dragons. 2 Cloud Dragons is enough. You're not really gonna revive that much, for that matter. Not to mention, your main targets are either the 3 main dragons or the extra deck dragons. But other than that, with the extra deck dragons, like Prime or any of them, you're gonna OTK anyway. You're most likely gonna win, so there's really no point in reviving. But it's good to have it in there just in case, And so that wraps up the Galaxy monsters, the Photon Galaxy monsters. And before I continue on, I want to point this out right now. There are a lot of builds out there that still use, Thrasher and Crusher. Here's the thing. I love Thrasher and Crusher, but the thing is that we don't need them anymore. Like, this deck doesn't need them anymore. It's not a rank 4 base deck. I still see people that, if you like doing that, then, you know, that's fine. You know, I'm not condemning you for it, but me personally, I don't see the point in doing that no more. I mean, we already got Soldier. I mean, Soldier's already here. There's no point in running Thrasher and Crusher. Like, yeah, they've been there since day one, and you know, they're just cards. You know, yeah, I respect the cards for what they did. And, you know, they did provide a fun little rank 4 engine right there, and it worked. It worked when it was still viable. But we got something new. You know, sometimes you gotta let go of what no longer works. You gotta work with what's new now, and what's new, well, as new as it can get, is Galaxy Soldier. Now, I'm not saying, you know, toss away all Thrashers and Crushers, and, you know, if you still want to use them, that's fine, but like I said, I personally don't use them. I don't see a reason to use them, but that's just me, you know? Like, if you want to use them, go right ahead, but again, that's just my opinion. You know, don't condemn me for having an opinion just because I'm not condemning you, just like I'm not condemning you for running what I don't think is, you know, necessary anymore. And to continue on with the deck profile, to partner off Galaxy Soldier, I'm still running the 2 overlay boosters. You know, people still see this as shocking. They see this card as like the most useless card out of the entire deck, and it is kind of hilarious when they see, like, oh, he special summoned that, you know, what are the chances of him using this, you know? But then when they see Soldier, and then they see me go for the Gaia Prime OTK, you know, this is a viable part of the OTK. I don't see that many builds running this. I run it because this right here is the Crusher to Galaxy Soldier's Photon Thrasher. You know, think of this as Photon Crusher for this deck, this new built deck here. It works well with Soldier because they're both level 5s. Not to mention, if you got the lone Soldier, like, you know, 2000 attack, you know, special summon this from your hand, go for a rank 5. You know, Pleiades, Volcasaurus, you know, Adrius for that matter. That works perfectly. Not to mention, its grave effect is what the opponent doesn't see coming. Because what I like to do is banish it from grave. Once I got enough materials under one of the rank 8s, you know, it pushes for the OTK a whole lot more, and it's quicker, it's a lot more fun. The opponent does not even see that coming. You know, gaining 500 extra attack for each material just because you banish this one guy who apparently is useless in the eyes of so many. It's kind of hilarious. And because of that, I think Overlay Booster has gotten a little bit of more respect, and I think it deserves that respect, you know, even though it's criminally underrated in this deck. And the real reason why I'm not running that much back row is because I run a lot of hand traps. I don't run Honest in here. That was my that was one of my many options. The reason why I didn't want to run Honest is because, you know, the attacks were already high enough. You know, I can already deal with Klee, and in fact, I've beaten Klees before, even before this ban list. Yeah, that's the other thing I failed to mention. I haven't played in this since the format started. This new format started. So, but before the last format ended, like, yes, I have competed, but since this one has started, you know, I haven't done any of that. But aside from that, I think I do enough with back row. You know, the four 1-ofs are fine enough. But the reason why I run back row more than the reason why I run hand traps more than back row is because they don't see this coming. Not to mention, they're light targets, so I can just do shenanigans with Soldier right there. And it's hilarious when the opponent just, you know, it shocks them to the extent. Not to mention, Vela does really help out a lot this format from what I've been playtesting on YGOPro. Also, Ghost Ogre, because, you know, who can go wrong with Ghost Ogre? Okay, I love popping that Scout, you know, before Klees got the hammer once again, for good this time. I love playing Ghost Ogre on Scout. Alright, moving on to the extra deck monsters. You know, we got the Galaxy Guys family right here. Well, most of them. Like, it's not really a family reunion if we're only running just, you know, the very few of them. The 2 primes that push for the OTK, that's basically the game ender right there. You know, the end-all, be-all. There's full armor. I really like full armor because, you know, if you got 2 full armors, there was a time when I did play against a Telenet player. I managed to bring out 2 full armors. I don't know how it happened, but this happened because I went second and I OTK'd him with just the 2. It was almost sad, really. Okay, and the other 2 is Dark Matter and Tachyon. Tachyon, I don't really use his effect that much. I mainly just, you know, go into full armor and then eventually Dark Matter. But it's still good to have it in there just in case, because, you know, problematic monsters. And Dark Matter, you know, Dark Matter sometimes helps. You know, sometimes I don't really go into him that much, but that's why I only run 1 of it. I don't see the need to run anymore. I might put it at 2, but right now is just not the time. And so I don't forget, Infinity will be in this deck. A lot of cards are going to be, you know, different from this. It's still a work in progress. It's the reason why after this deck profile, I can already answer the question right now. I am not going to do a deck profile of, you know, the Infinity build because it's still a work in progress. So I really don't want to, you know, spoil what I'm still, you know, doing for the time being. Alright, moving on, we got 2 Felgrants because Felgrant is awesome. The one Lancelot, it really does help out, you know, late game, mid game, or basically anytime during the game. The other guys I like using is M7 and Gaia Dragon. Gaia Dragon because, you know, it helps out. It helps out for the OTK because it pierces. Not to mention M7, you know, M7 more attack power for Prime. The 2 Pleiades, Volca and Adrius. I love Adrius. I can't let it go. I love Adrius. I've been running Adrius ever since it came out, and I've been running it ever since. And I just kept the 1 copy. I've been keeping the 1 copy. It was still special to me. Although it makes me sad knowing that I'm gonna have to get rid of it once Infinity comes out. Infinity and spoilers, and also Volca is gonna have to leave. Gonna have to leave the gang as well, and just for Infinity alone, it's gonna be really hard to see them go. But yeah, that just about does it for my Photon Galaxy deck updates. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like I said, this build, it's viable. It works for most of the time anyway. I've gone as far as I could with it. I'm hoping to get further with it until then, you know, locals has to open up again, and I don't know when that's gonna be. But until then, I'm just going to keep playtesting, and I'm going to keep playtesting the other builds, you know, the Infinity build. So until then, I'm just going to enjoy the rest of my birthday. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you later.